Welcome to Option Trades Today. I'm Tony the Bat Batiste, and I have a trade idea for you today. October 17th, 2023. But first, as I always do, let's take a look at the market. Even the S&Ps, wow, they've rallied up 7 handles now. As you can see here earlier, they were down to 43.65. A good 40 handles lower than we are right now, or 40 points. NASDAQ was the weakest of the group. It's still the weakest of the group, but a lot of stocks like NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla down $6-7 at one point. Russell's been the strongest of the group all day long. Here you can see it's up 1.5%, $26.50 so far, and the Dow is up 60. Volatility is just under that $18 mark. It got up to around 1880. Really never expanded too much today, but you can see over the last couple of days it's popped up to around 20 or so, and now sitting around the mean. What I normally do is go now and take a look at high IV rank trades, but instead I want to show you the follow page because sometimes it takes us a while to get these trades out. If you're on the Tasty Trade platform and you go to the follow page, I always post the trades as soon as I put them out there. You can see here that I'm doing a trade in SPY. I did it earlier this morning, depending on when this podcast comes out or when you get a chance to watch it. At least if you have your platform or your platform open, you can see the trade. I usually do it between 10 and 10:30. Here I was able to do it at 10:15. You can see I have a 68% pop. Everything that I talk about on this video will be here for you in writing so that you can see it. You will miss, obviously, some of the color that I provide in the background, but at least you'll see here that I'm doing a classic strangle at 1 standard deviation. You'll get more of the reading when you come back to watch this podcast. Let's do that right now. I'm going to go to, let's look at volatility. You can see here that it's at 18, around that mid of over some period of time, which is around a year or so. SPY, on the other hand, has a good IV rank of 27. I think it's the highest of the group. IWM was giving it a little bit of a run for its money. Yeah, 27.8%. And then you've got the Qs, which are going to be close also, but probably a little bit less at 23%. So let's go back to SPY if we can very quickly, and I'll explain to you why I'm looking to make this trade in SPY. All right, so you got a good high IV rank. Obviously, you have good liquidity in SPY. You've got penny-wide markets. So I've got the IV rank, high IV rank. I'm looking for liquidity. I certainly have liquidity. Now, 45 days is optimal, so I have to decide whether I want to go to NOV or DECE on this trade. I would have no problem with you making a trade in both of these. I would certainly do that. I'm only going to go to NOV today. If volatility was higher, around that 20 /VX was closer to 20, 19, 20, 21, I probably would default to December. 45 days is 14 days away from December. It's 14 days away from November. No wrong answer here. Now, when I originally was going to do this trade and the market was a little bit lower, I was looking to do a 1/2 ratio spread that would have worked out quite nicely, but the market rallied on me before I can get this trade on. So I want to show you what I was looking at and why I didn't put on the trade I was going to originally look at. So I wanted to buy the 427 puts and sell the 418 puts. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why is he showing us a trade that he's not putting on? I'll show you the trade I put on in just a moment, but you can certainly go to the follow page and see it right there. But I wanted to show you or demonstrate put skew. You can see here that I'm buying around the 30 delta put, and I'm selling 2 of an option that I could get more than $1 for. I'll do it for you in real time here. I was going to go a little bit wider, but here you go 1 strike closer, and you can see you get $1.45. This is a classic 1/2 ratio spread in a smaller product than /ES or SPX. You're doing it in SPY. It uses significantly less buying power. You're looking at just under $8,000. But now look at this trade with a 90% pop. You're able to collect $1.45 in credit, and you're going, $18 wide on this spread, right? I'm sorry, $8 wide on this spread, right? That's the difference between 419 and 427. Remember, $1.45. Let's go to the call side, because I was originally thinking about doing both sides. Let's go to the 447 calls, because they have around the same delta, that 30 delta. And let's go 8 strikes up. I would go to the 455 calls. And you'll notice here that you're doing it for 95 cents, but it's a debit. So the same distance, equal distance away, because this has put skew, you're able to get a lot more credit. They're the same trade here. I know it says 18% pop, but they're using the same delta, same width. Because you're doing this for a debit, it's going to show you that 18% pop. If it was a credit, it would have showed you that 90% pop that we were looking at. Look how close you have to go before you can collect $1 or $1.40 that we were just looking at a moment ago. Here you have that, 76% pop. I'm using the same amount of buying power basically, and you're only $3 wide. We like to get as wide as we can on these. So I originally wanted to do a double ratio spread, but instead I'm going to opt to just doing the classic strangle. And what strikes did I do? I believe, well, you know what? We can take a quick look at it for you one more time just to show you where it is in case you missed that. You go to the follow page. You'll see here that I'm my trade is sitting right here. I'm doing the 414 put, 455 call. You could certainly you can click on duplicate this trade if you want to. Agree if you haven't already agreed, and it'll populate the trade for you, so you don't even have to click around the platform. This trade that I'm putting on, let's take a look at it. I did it right there at $3.62 when the market was a little bit lower. As this spread is basically delta neutral. Now it has a -3 delta. When I put it on, it was delta neutral, but the market has rallied. Remember, we were down about 15 handles when I put this original trade on. 362 right there at mid price is where I got filled. I'm doing the 453 calls. You'll notice here they have about an 18 delta. I'm going to assume that these are going to have around a 15 delta, 16 delta. Notice $1.90 for the put and $1.70 for the call. You get paid a little bit more and be further out of the money when you have put skew. Puts trade expensive with put skew, calls trade cheaper. Now, could you, if you wanted to, not use the $7,500 in buying power and go wider? You certainly could. You could go up as much as you like. I mean, I usually look for options that are under 20-ish cents. That just happens to bring me to 468 on this side. Of course, it's not going to change my buying power because I still have risk to the downside. So let's take a look at that. Let's go wider on the downside. Because there's put skew, I told you those puts trade a lot cheaper. You're going to have to go a lot wider to get to around that 20 cents. I'll just go here to 345, and you'll see that my buying power hasn't changed by that much. So if you want to, you're going to have to, if you're going to use less buying power, bring in those puts. Here you'll see, of course, you're going to take away some of that credit that you received, but you are reducing the buying power. If you are going to be using $6,000 in buying power on this trade, maybe it's time to bring in the call side too, ever so slightly, so you can use a little less there too. It's completely up to you. I am doing just the strangle. I like the probability of profit on the strangle. I like the IV rank in SPY. I like the exposure to the market that I have. I also don't have a lot of money in the market right now. This is a standalone trade. That's 68% pop. That's where I like to live. I did the 414, 453. You can see right now as we rally, the call's catching a little bit of a bid. You'll be able to do it a penny or two better than I did. All right, listen, if you haven't already, please open, move, bring, transfer your account to Tasty Trade. Take advantage of some of the great perks that we have available for you, up to $4,000, depending on how much money you bring into Tasty Trade for just moving your account to Tasty Trade, or open up a new one, open up one for your loved ones. Help me keep the lights on here and all of this programming free to you.